would love for you guys to leave suggestions and your opinion in the comments section. This channel is founded on doing so. Today, we're going to be asking a very simple question, and that is, are we living a lie? And no, this doesn't implicate that everything in your life is an actual lie. Rather, it's going to go into questioning a lot of our beliefs and what we're ingrained to believe in since we were very young. I had a great psychology teacher tell me a very interesting story. She had explained that she would go to pick her child up from daycare, and there would be a lot of children there when she arrived. The children would come up to her and they'd want to hug her and whatnot as she left. She advised the children not to make any physical contact with her at all, and then she went on to explain to the children that they didn't know her and she was a stranger. So I was taken away by this story, and at first I didn't really know how to react. So even though they had seen her picking up her child at the daycare and they knew her face, they did not have an actual relationship with her. This may seem very odd for some of you, so let me explain. Even though a hug is considered a healthy and fine gesture, and we're taught from a young age to do this with people we are not entirely comfortable with, I cannot tell you how many times I have been in a social setting with close and distant relatives, and a hug was kind of expected. This never felt right. This is our body telling us that we need to set a boundary, yet so many times throughout our lives we simply ignore this and we just kind of carry on with our daily life. Now you may be wondering where I'm going with the story about a woman that does not hug people. How many of you have tried to help maybe an older friend or a parent or even a grandparent, maybe helping them out with understanding technology? I worked in a call center for many years in both management and as a customer service representative, and have done this kind of thing a lot. When the older person would call me with, let's say, just receiving a new phone, they were angry, stating that nothing worked and they had no idea why they did this, and they had buyer's remorse, completely regretted it, and were overwhelmed. So as I began to excel in my position, I began to understand that this was the fear of learning something new. I would calm the customer down using empathetic and reassuring statements like, "We will get through this together." And their tone would change throughout the call. Now, is this just because of their age? Of course not. However, as we grow older, we begin to fear learning things that are alien to us. Many people become accustomed to things in life working a certain way, and then you kind of adapt to that and become comfortable in your beliefs. This principle ties into religion, purpose, life, hardship, emotions, and any kind of relationship we may have had throughout our entire existence. Let's look at some behaviors we do without having any meaning. This also may sound kind of strange to you when you look back and think about it, but a lot of us do this. If someone sneezes, we say, "God bless you." If we go on a date, we may hold the person's hand despite it being extremely uncomfortable. If we get into an argument with someone, we apologize a lot of the time, almost right after. If we get a new phone, we want to turn it on and use it like we have seen others doing successfully, like I had previously talked about with the customer calling in. Do these behaviors that we have been taught prevent us from exploring our creativity and diving into trying new things in life that actually make us happy? From what I have found, the answer is yes. Once you learn how to open your mind up completely and allow things to flow just as water does naturally, taking the easiest path and the one of least resistance, we can then be accepting enough to truly change our lives in the way we think about things completely. I can tell you, I have seen a lot of unhappy people, and they'll continue going to a job they hate, a relationship that is falling apart, and they'll continue also going to a relationship that is falling apart, and to the same mailbox with the same debt, expecting something to change without taking any steps to make that possible. A lot of these very people live and die this way, which has really saddened me because I've always questioned our purpose for life. And the problem I ran into with that is I was consistently focusing on either the past or the future. So a lot of individuals will look at the past and be like, well, that interview for becoming an author went really, really poorly for a newspaper organization. So that person may be fearful of trying to apply for companies that require the similar things. Or maybe you even subconsciously won't date somebody around your same age because you had a prior experience that didn't work out. The universe ultimately is yours. So what I'd like to ask you guys is, are you currently experiencing any of the things that I spoke about? And I'd like to hear some feedback as well as some comments as to ways that you're living in things that you might feel you can even do to change it. Because ultimately, everything we do in this life is going to impact us, guys, at the very end of our life as well. We may not realize it now, but every small thing we do throughout our day that isn't contributing to our overall happiness does add up. A lot of people might be like, well, that's no big deal, Mike. For instance, you can just, go to work and stick it out even though you're unhappy, because they may be afraid of what will happen financially to me in the future, or be afraid that I might risk taking some kind of financial or materialistic loss. The problem with living this way is you'll get to a point eventually where you look back and that's all you've done. So now, guys, I want to challenge you to go ahead, apply some of these principles, give me some of your feedback as well on whether or not you think that this is the case, and share your perspective. Make sure if you guys like this video, you throw a like. I really appreciate all the support I've gotten so far. You guys have been phenomenal. Thank you and have a great day.